Hello all orchid lovers. Today I want to share with you a story that really makes me worry. On the roads I pass, I often come across pots of orchids with faded flowers, withered and left on the sidewalk. Orchids that were once brilliant, that once brought joy to someone, but are now forgotten. Seeing that scene, I really can't help but feel sorry. To me, every orchid has a soul and deserves to be given another chance. Therefore, every time I come across a plant that still has some vitality, I often bring it. Choose the one that can still be saved, and I will restore it. And today, I want to share with you how I save the orchid pots that seem to be dead so that they can once again bloom brilliantly. Discarded orchid pots often have all their flowers fallen off, their stems shriveled, their leaves yellow, their roots dry out, or they are attacked by fungi and bacteria. The underlying reason is that most of them were raised in greenhouse environments where humidity, light, and temperature are always carefully controlled. When exposed to nature, if not properly cared for, the plants can easily become exhausted and lose strength quickly. The first step in the revival process is to carefully check all the old growing medium, because this is where many fungi and harmful bacteria accumulate. Then, cut off all the dried flower branches. This helps the plant no longer have to concentrate nutrients on useless parts, thereby focusing energy on restoring the stem, leaves, and roots. Because the old growing medium has degraded, is moldy and infected with fungi, it is very easy to cause root rot and waterlogging. Therefore, I will remove the entire old growing medium, not keeping any part. This not only helps to completely eliminate the source of pathogens hidden inside, but also helps me closely observe the entire root system of the tree. From there, we can accurately assess the level of damage, identify which roots are still healthy, which roots are rotten, to come up with the most appropriate treatment and recovery measures for the tree. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons to support me, and don't miss any useful orchid care tips. I'm happy to accompany you on the journey of nurturing and conquering the beauty of orchid pots. Next, we proceed to check the entire root system of the plant. Any roots that are dry, shriveled, or rotten need to be completely cut off with sharp, sterilized scissors to avoid spreading pathogens. Only keep fresh, firm roots that are ivory or light green in color. That is a sign of healthy roots, still able to absorb nutrients and water. This pruning helps the plant focus its energy on nourishing healthy roots, while preventing the spread of fungi and bacteria, creating a foundation for the recovery process later. Which country are you watching this video from? Leave a comment below to let me know. It's great that we can connect and share our passion for orchids from all over the world. In addition to root treatment, we also need to carefully check the leaves of the plant. Leaves that are infected, spotted, waterlogged, or soft must be removed immediately to avoid spreading the disease to healthy leaves. Because if you leave diseased leaves, the plant will continue to weaken and the recovery process will be difficult to achieve the desired results. After removing the damaged roots and leaves, I rinse the entire plant under running water. This step helps to completely wash away mold, bacteria, and dirt that is still stuck on the stem, leaves, and grooves of the plant. This is an extremely important step, because if I don't clean it thoroughly from the beginning, all the care or recovery efforts later will be almost useless. The cool water not only helps to clean dirt and pathogens, but also stimulates the cells in the stem and leaves of the plant to wake up again. After washing, I place the plant in a dry, airy place, away from direct sunlight, to let it dry completely before moving on to the next recovery step. In the early stages of recovery, I often choose moss as a growing medium. This material has high moisture retention, is breathable, and is very suitable for weak orchids or newly pruned roots. However, before planting, I always clean the moss thoroughly. The method is very simple. I fill the moss with hot water and soak it for about 1 hour. This step helps to completely destroy mold, bacteria, and insect eggs that are still stuck in the moss, ensuring a clean and safe growing environment for the plants. Next, I prepare about 1 liter of clean water to make a substrate for mixing organic fertilizer solution for orchids. The first ingredient I use is banana GE, fermented banana juice that I brewed 4 weeks ago. Bananas contain potassium to help plants recover quickly, green leaves, and sprout new roots. Phosphorus stimulates the formation of young roots, and B vitamins help plants reduce stress and increase resistance after a period of weakness. I measure out about 50 milliliters of banana GE solution and dissolve it with 1 liter of clean water. This is the right ratio for the solution to be most effective for orchids without causing shock or burning the roots. Then, I stir the mixture well so that the nutrients in the banana GE completely dissolve into the water and let the solution rest for about 15 minutes. Next, I prepared a clean vase and placed the entire orchid inside. At this point, the banana GE solution had been left to rest for 15 minutes. The beneficial microorganisms had been reactivated, and the solution had also stabilized the pH, making it gentler and easier for the orchid to absorb. Then, I poured the nutrient solution into the vase so that it covered the entire orchid and soaked it for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, I will recycle a plastic cup, turning it into a temporary pot for the orchid during the recovery period. I choose a clear, clean, and moderately thick plastic cup, then use a sharp pair of scissors to cut additional drainage holes at the bottom of the pot. These holes help water to drain easily, avoiding stagnation that causes root rot, while also creating conditions for air circulation, helping the roots to breathe better. After soaking the plant for about 30 minutes, I will gently lift the plant out of the solution. At this point, the orchid has absorbed a sufficient amount of nutrients, which is essential for the first recovery stage. You will see the stem become fresher, the leaves are less wrinkled, and the roots begin to soften, with a slight elasticity. That is a sign that the plant has received energy from the solution. After soaking the moss in hot water for about 1 hour, all the mold, bacteria, and insect eggs have been completely destroyed. Next, I scoop out the moss, then squeeze it dry moderately, not too wet because it can easily cause waterlogging of the roots, nor too dry because it will lose its ability to retain moisture. The ideal moisture level is when squeezed lightly. The moss is only slightly damp in the hand. This will help the substrate to always be airy, keep the moisture stable, very suitable for orchids in the recovery stage, and stimulate young roots. Next, I will spread a layer of moss on the bottom of the prepared plastic cup to make a base for the orchid pot. Then, I will add moss evenly around the roots of the orchid, gently covering the entire root system, but not pressing too tightly. The purpose is to keep the moisture evenly around the roots, helping the plant always have a moist and airy environment, favorable for young roots to emerge and grow healthily. In addition to English subtitles, you can also turn on automatic translation into your language to understand the content more easily. To display subtitles in the language you want, open the video, then click the gear icon, select Subtitles Automatic Translation, and then select your preferred language. After planting the plant in the moss substrate, I will reuse the diluted banana GE solution to lightly water around the roots and substrate. This step helps provide additional natural nutrients for the plant right from the early stages of recovery, while stimulating young roots to grow and increasing the ability to absorb nutrients. When watering, you should only lightly moisten the substrate. Avoid leaving too much standing water because moss retains moisture very well. If watered too much, the plant can easily get waterlogged. At this stage, I will place the orchid pot in a cool place with gentle light to help the plant gradually adapt to the new environment and slowly recover. After 3 weeks of care, you will easily notice the obvious changes on each leaf of the orchid. The leaves that were previously wrinkled, weak, and yellowed are now gradually becoming shiny again. The green color also becomes darker and fresher. When you touch them lightly, you will feel the natural thickness and hardness of the leaves, a sign that the plant is recovering well and the photosynthesis process is stable. In particular, at the base, many young roots have begun to grow. They are all large, round, and healthy. That is the clearest sign that the plant is recovering well. Those young roots not only bring joy to the grower, but also prove the tenacious vitality and miraculous regeneration ability of the orchid. They are like nature's gentle response to the patience and loving care that we have given to the plant. Through the current state of the plant, we can easily see that the orchid is entering a strong growth phase, with many young roots growing, thick green leaves, and glossy. This is also the golden time to move the plant to a new substrate. When the root system is in the process of developing, changing the substrate will help the orchid roots adapt easily, stick firmly, and spread faster. A new, clean, and airy growing environment will create a solid foundation for the plant to continue to grow steadily, sprout new buds, and be ready for the upcoming flowering season. The growing medium I chose for the orchid at this stage is pine bark. Before using, I have cleaned the pine bark. First, I spread a layer of large pine bark on the bottom of the pot. This will be the drainage layer to help air circulate well around the root system. Next, I gently place the orchid in the middle of the pot so that the roots are spread out naturally, not folded or compressed. Then, I insert each layer of small pine bark around the roots, just enough to fix the plant, but still ensure ventilation for the roots to breathe. Pine bark has good ventilation properties, retains moderate moisture, and is less likely to rot, helping orchid roots grow healthily and minimizing the risk of fungal diseases. In addition, pine bark also contains a small amount of natural pine resin, which has a mild antibacterial effect, helping the growing environment to always be clean and airy. In particular, when combined with the tree's strongly developing root system at this stage, pine bark will create ideal conditions for roots to cling, spread, and absorb nutrients effectively. Finally, I cover the surface of the substrate with a thin layer of moss. This layer of moss not only helps to keep the roots moist during the recovery period, but also creates a cool environment, balancing the natural humidity around the base. In addition, moss also acts as a biological shield, limiting the penetration of dirt and fungi from the outside. In this step, I will use flour as a natural fertilizer for orchids. Flour contains a lot of starch and vegetable protein, which is an abundant source of energy to help beneficial microorganisms in the substrate grow, while providing a gentle source of nutrition for the plant. I use 1 tablespoon of flour in this recipe. Put it in a clean jar. Then add 500 milliliters of clean water to help extract the nutrients in the flour. I stir the mixture well so that the nutrients in the flour dissolve faster. Then cover the jar tightly and incubate for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, the compounds in the flour have been partially decomposed, forming a natural nutrient solution that is easily absorbed and safe for orchids during the recovery period. Next, I will filter out the residue to obtain a clearer and smoother solution. This filtering is very important because if the flower residue sticks to the roots, it will easily cause blockage, lack of oxygen, and hinder the plant's respiration process. The filtered solution is a natural, gentle, and effective organic fertilizer, ready to use for orchids. I use the prepared flower extract solution to water evenly around the substrate and the roots of the orchid. As the solution gradually seeps down, the natural nutrients will be gently absorbed by the roots, helping to stimulate the activity of beneficial microorganisms and increase the metabolism in the roots. This is an important step in the recovery phase because the nutrients from the flower are gentle enough not to shock the plant, but enough to promote the cell regeneration process, helping the leaves to be greener, the roots to be stronger, and the plant to quickly regain vitality. Then we put the tree back in the garden, in a ventilated and lightly lit place so that the tree can gradually adapt and grow. And this is the result after 4 months of persistent care. You see, the young roots that were once white and plump have now turned dark green, strong, healthy, and penetrate deep into the substrate to absorb nutrients. The leaves of the plant have also turned green again. Each leaf is shiny, smooth, and thick, a sign that the plant has completely recovered. The most joyful thing is that the plant has sprouted a new flower stalk, green and healthy. That flower stalk is the clearest sign of a complete revival, proving that the plant has not only recovered but also has enough energy to enter the growth and flowering stage. Looking at the flower stalk growing strongly among the lush green leaves, we can feel the orchid's tenacious will to live. Even though it was once withered and weak, but with proper care and attention, it can still bloom again, more beautiful and stronger than before. And as you can see, each orchid has a strong vitality. As long as we are patient, understanding, and give them a chance, no matter how withered they are, they can still rise up and bloom again. If you also love orchids and want to share more experiences and practical care tips with me, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest videos. Wishing you always have healthy, vibrant orchid pots in your garden.